when standing, in some instances you find individuals that have back pain. If they have back pain, they will have a tendency to lean forward. And because they're leaning forward, in order to see where they're going, they either have to lift their head or bend their knees or both. So this kind of posture very typically can occur as people get a little bit older if they don't align their bones well. So the idea is to stand with weight shifted over the heel, with the head and chest also shifted roughly over the heels, and that gives a good effortless standing posture. Now sometimes people get concerned about excessive curvature in the lower back. So they'll say an individual where the hips are pushed back and the chest is forward, okay, there's going to be some pain in the lower back, some compression in the lower back. So what's usually done is people will say, well, tuck your tailbone under. If I take a reference from base of my pelvis to lower rib cage, you notice when you tuck under, see how the hands move closer? So this is, we try to create nice length in the front. But if I tuck the tailbone under, it shortens in the front. That decompresses the facet joint, the bony structures that support the spine in the back, and it tightens the abdomen. Another way that you can do this, which will lengthen both the front of the spine and the back of the spine, is the following. If my weight shifts to my heels, instead of tucking under, if I can activate the muscles of the upper outer hip by pressing the heels to the side, you'll notice that the front of the spine also lengthens, and it takes out some of the excessive curvature in the lower back. Now, one other point is that many times we'll have, particularly young women, long waist, very muscular hips, and people will look at them from the side and say, because they have very muscular hips, they'll look at the surface of the muscle to the lower back and say, there's too much curvature in your back. And I've had many students come with lower back pain from trying to tuck under only because it looks like there's excessive curvature. If I look at the curve in my lower back, the curve in my lower back runs down to the sacrum, and the sacrum is set somewhere forward of the surface of the hip. So it's very hard, unless you do an x-ray, to see that there's excessive curvature in the back. Don't look at the illusion of the size of the hip relative to a thin, long waist to think that somehow curvature is excessive.